Blog Talk Radio.
Transition, the process of change from one condition to another.
We are now at a new crossroads where change is evident once again.
What does not serve us must transform us anew.
Returning to our original state of oneness and true nature of that which created who we truly are.
Confusion was the way of the past. Enlightenment is the way of the now and future. Shedding the layers of deceit.
We now bring you the transformation of the two who started as one. Our fearless planet never stands still.
Earth has been in a process of transition. Not exactly remarkable, ongoing reality.
Welcome to Transition Radio.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Angelo Cummings, your host.
And my name is Lena Lopez, your hostess.
We're broadcasting live from the wonderful and beautiful land of enchantment, Silver City, New Mexico.
We wanted to take this time to thank our sponsor at thebreastformstore.com. They have everything you can imagine for enhancing your feminizing needs.
As well as Spunk Lube, which is an amazing personal lubricant. It's 100% sex toy safe, glycerin-free, and it's very much fun to use. Visit their website at
spunklube.com.
And if you want to receive a 10% discount, just plug in the code TR and he'll hook you up. Tonight, we have Quinn Evans. Quinn is a 20-something Floridian who is a female-to-male transsexual. He first came to realize this when he was about 5 years old. He quotes, "I came out at 16. I grew up in a Christian spiritual home. I started transition medically and legally at the age of 16 when I had my legal name changed, started on testosterone, and had my chest reconstructive surgery, as well as having my gender marker changed. My only coping mechanism at the time was music, as well as it is now."
One day I watched Taboo and saw your episode on being FTM male and thought, wow, things can improve and get better. Then my good friend Lex interviewed on your radio show. I was intrigued in your knowledge and etc. Your show was very informative. I then began my search on YouTube and came across your music. The message in your music was inspiring. You gave me the courage to begin playing drums and form a band. I have been playing drums since middle school, but seeing someone else, kind of like me, making music was great, and also helped seeing how successful you are in life, and the LGBT helped as well.
Our band's name is called Los Zingoros, meaning the Gypsies or Wandering Boys. We are both FTM. Reese plays the guitar, banjo, I play the drums, and percussion instruments. We both write music.
We both think music is a great way to get emotions out and help others. Our Facebook is www.facebook.com/Los Zingoros. Our YouTube is Los Zingoros.
And now, welcome to the show, Mr. Quinn Evans.
Hello.
Hey, Quinn, how you doing, brother?
Good evening. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Oh, it's a pleasure, and thank you so much for the compliment, and I'm so grateful that I've been an inspiration to you. And, your music rocks. I was listening to some of the stuff you guys have.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, what has been your most difficult challenge since you've transitioned?
Well, since coming out from the beginning around 16 was just getting people to understand that it wasn't some type of phase, and that I identified as male, not like a butch lesbian. That was probably the most hardest thing in the beginning.
And when you said that you identify as a butch lesbian, which a lot of us FTM identify as lesbian, why was it so hard to make that switch? I mean, in your own words, I know that everyone has a different angle on that or a different feeling about that, but why was that the hardest thing for you?
Well, to switch was just getting families to understand or see, that when you grow up as a child, well, at least in my realm of the world, I wasn't taught that there was, anything outside of just male and female. So then, one day I saw some show on TV that showed gay people. So then I, tried to identify as that, but it didn't quite fit. So I guess from an understanding from my parents is they kind of, on their behalf probably saw it as like, oh, this kid doesn't know what he's trying to do or how he identifies. So people, were kind of reluctant to my transition at first.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I know my mom told me just stay as a lesbian because the news of me transforming or transitioning to a male was way too hard for her. I was the firstborn. She was proud of her daughter, and all of a sudden her daughter was going to become a man. So before it wasn't okay to be a lesbian, but then after the news, it was like, just stay as a lesbian. Did that happen to you as well?
Yes, that did. My mom was like, I just got settled in with this, and now we have this, and I as well as the firstborn too, so it was, kind of hard on my mom. And also on top of that, I was adopted as well, so it was like a double whammy.
Oh, wow.
But but she's definitely made, a 360 flip, so.
Wow.
So since you came from a Christian home, is that right? You grew up?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. How did you resolve those issues dealing with, your issues of gender and your faith?
Well, with faith, that was one of the main factors that kind of held me back for a while because everyone was saying, being gay is kind of like a sin. But right. My church was pretty open. I grew up in kind of like a Methodist church. So they were kind of, welcoming about it. But everyone else, that kind of grew up Catholic or Baptist was telling me, no, that's really bad. So I kind of, had some battles in my head with that. But I came to realization, and what I told a lot of people that struggle with religion or just, things like that is what I would say. I said, I told my mom one day, I said, instead of praying, that this is going to be I'm going to be straight or whatever you think, or girl, just pray to understand this. And that's what I kind of did, is just hope and pray that, people would understand where I'm coming from, and I guess they actually did.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
can you talk to us about your childhood and how your family reacted to you when you first came out?
It was very negative. My mom was just like, your friends are causing you to, do this, and they're having such a big influence and things like that. And she thought TV as well was having an influence because of the time me growing up younger, there's a lot of gay and, lesbian stuff was up and coming on, shows like Teen Nick and things like that. So she thought I was being influenced. So it was kind of hard, and I got kind of, isolated. She didn't let me hang out with my friends, so I spent a lot of time in my, room by myself. So it was really rough. So, yeah.
It's to me, it's amazing because our families are supposed to give us unconditional love, and I believe that we are their biggest gift. We're teaching them how to love unconditionally. I think we're teaching the world in general. So what is your thought on that? That I know a lot of people think that being transgender is like an enormous curse. I believe it's a tremendous gift. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a gift as well. I do definitely agree on that term. It's helped me, well, I wouldn't say it's helped me 100%, dating mainly female-bodied people, but it's given me a different respect for female gendered or female people in general, as well as respecting, my mother as well. But I don't think it's a curse. I just think it's, I kind of try to relate to people a lot so they can understand that it's just a medical issue, and like anything else, diabetes or something like that, it just needs to be treated, and we're all the same.
You mentioned in your bio that music was almost like therapy for you. That was like your rescue, your refuge. Tell us a little bit about that, and tell us about your music and style.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, in my, when I came out and I was kind of isolated, I didn't really have, friends to talk to, and the internet was, taken away. But I did have, my mom and my parents bought me, a guitar, which I didn't really like that too much, but the drums I really took to, and I would just, be in my room for hours and hours, and then I began to write because I was really into reading as well at that time. So I, listened to a lot of rock, like Blink-182 or even the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and things like that. And, as time went on and I was, allowed to be out of the house, I ended up going to a lot of concerts, and I found in that crowd, interesting enough, that it was easier for, a trans person or a genderqueer person to fit in, kind of, because everyone kind of dressed the same, or, like the same, type of band shirts or, jeans or attire. So it was really easy to fit in, and, writing music and meeting new people really just, helped me feel a lot more confident and things like that. So.
Excellent.
How supportive has the community been towards your music?
I'm very, very supportive. A lot of people are listening and catching on. We're a fairly new band, but I have been in the music scene for a couple of years now. But everyone's been really supportive, and a lot of people, come up to me and they don't know, or they just found out I was trans, and it's a kind of a shocker, but it's good to relate to them, and they're like, oh wow, it's if you can do it, I can do it, or oh wow, I really respect what you're doing, and it's good to know that there's other people, out there. It's been really great.
So you said you learned how to play the drums not long ago. Why the drums? Why not the guitar? Why another instrument? Why the drums? What?
I started playing the guitar, and that got smashed because I got very frustrated with that. But the drums I couldn't break, and it was easy to get a lot of anger out, being kind of a little bit isolated, and also having all these weird, emotions, and trying to, just figure myself out. I had a lot of anger, and music and drums was the one way that I could express it in, not a negative way, I found out.
How did you and Reese hook up? How did you meet up with Reese and decided to create your band?
Well, me and Reese, we went to the same here in Tampa, Florida. There's, it's got a pretty good music scene, and back in the early 2000s, not that long ago, rock and kind of like screamo, I guess you could say, music was kind of popular, and we just ended up seeing each other here and there at shows, and I was in a couple of different bands, he was doing some different stuff, and at the time we didn't know that we were both struggling with the same thing. We just thought, we're just regular dudes. And then one day someone mentioned something to me and mentioned something to him, and we just kind of connected, and we've been friends for a couple of years now, but now we had the time and the money to really put some energy into a band, and it's been really great, to have someone that's on the same page as me, musically, and going through this transition.
So what's your music style like? Do you liken it to different bands that you would like to emulate, or is it your own particular style that you
we're developing our own style. It's kind of rock alternative, I would just classify it as now. But if you, one band that people have mentioned when they've seen us play or heard us play is that we kind of remind them of like Cage the Elephant. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're kind of newer band, but they're kind of like a Nirvana rock kind of feel.
So who's the writer? Lyrics?
Reese is currently writing the majority of material right now, but we just started brainstorming together, with the lyrics and things like that. So we're just getting started, but we are working together lyrically now.
I was checking his page out. He seems to be very spiritual and also a vegan, a fellow vegan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real cool dude.
Yeah, it's we're probably going to be wanting you guys back on the show. We're going to be doing TV segments back again coming up soon, so we'll probably invite him as well as you on the TV segments that we're planning to put together. What would you like to see happen for? Yeah, what would you like to see happen for Los Zingoros?
Definitely would like to go on tour and do all the regular normal band things, but, I would just like to, play music, have fun, and also help people along the way that are, similar in, the trans community or the LGBTQ community, and just, help people know that you can do it, you can make it, because, everyone deserves a chance, and, there's not too many, there are some, trans musicians or artists out there, but it would just be great to add another one,
I was once asked in one of the TV interviews that I did on a news channel, and then I played, why was I out as an FTM if I wanted to make it in music? Do you think that by being out you're hindering your success, or do you think that plays any role at all?
I don't think it's going to really affect my success. Right now it's a very prevalent time with the LGBT community and things like that. So I think, with the time being and people being more accepting and standing up for things, nowadays I don't think people see it as much as a threat or something very odd. They might think, oh, okay, cool, or, oh, that's kind of weird, but, music is music, and if they like what they hear, it's not going to matter, what gender I am or what we're doing.
So your music itself, do you have like a specific theme that you're looking to spread a message about, or are you just kind of all over the map, with just having fun?
Yeah, we're just trying to be kind of open, but we kind of both agree, as we both kind of agree that, change is good and positivity is good. So that's kind of the messages that we're trying to send, as well as, emotions as well. You can be sad, you can be happy, as long as you feel it's, good, it's good for you. So a lot of times I feel like in the trans community and people in general these days just don't really interact with their true feelings. So, we're trying to get, happy, sad, in between stuff out there, and people can relate in the community as well.
Let me ask you, I know testosterone changed my singing voice, and I know that a lot of trans men from Lucas, Silveria, and a lot of greats that we've interviewed on the show, I've talked about the change in the voice and how devastating and how hard. It's almost like you have to retrain your voice. Did you guys find you had that issue?
Yeah, it completely, for me, it did change my voice. It's definitely, I've had to train it a lot more, and get it to the right pitch. So, usually on the new tracks that are going to be coming out, I'll be backing up. For Reese, though, his tone is kind of kept the same. It hasn't really affected it too much, so that's kind of interesting. But for me, yeah, it definitely did. So
I think one of the techniques that Lucas talked about is by the dosing of testosterone, keeping it low, because as a pubescent boy goes to puberty, it's a lower dose. It doesn't spike up as much as it give us in the beginning. It's almost like too much, and then our vocal cords lengthen too quickly, and that's why we lose our singing voice and have cracking and all sorts of issues. So there's been several FTMs that have actually talked about that on the show, and I find that pretty interesting that, as singers, we want to try to keep our voice the best we can, and I think proper dosing and being careful is the key. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think stay on a low dose, and I kept myself on a low dose, but it's just, I didn't really sing as much as Reese did, but, one thing, he just kept singing. He told me he's just always kept singing and singing and singing. So I think if you stay consistent and train your voice, that helps as well. And, a lot of guys when they first start T, at least from my perspective, is they want to be on, the higher dose and just, bump up as soon as possible. But I think if you're a musician or singing, to stay on the lowest dose possible that, works for your body might be best for your voice because, like you said, the vibration and stuff is just completely different than before, It happens all so fast, so that does affect your voice, so, don't rush it. That's what I would, have to say.
So in the past, were you musical before? I mean, did you sing,
Yeah, actually, in church, I guess, I was forced to sing, but, I mean, I did in other bands, like indie kind of rock bands, I did kind of, still backup sing, but the reason it worked in those bands is because I kind of my voice wasn't so high, but I had a decent, kind of in-between pitch that it worked, and now it's, super low, so it's kind of a little bit hard. And as well, I used to be in a band that kind of, screamed, or whatever, but I found now, now when I scream, it's a little bit easier versus before it was a lot of work to get that, weird, raspy kind of scream out. So that's interesting as well.
So why the name Zingoros? And can you tell us a bit more about the meaning behind the name?
Reese came up with it, and Reese, is Spanish. I think he speaks Portuguese, and we wanted something that was kind of different, not so common or easy to pronounce. So Los means the, and Zingoros, from what he told me, means the gypsies or wandering. So we did Los Zingoros, which would be the gypsy or the wandering boys, because we're still, always, learning new things, and, transition is a lifelong thing, so that's why we chose that name.
And how do you pronounce that again? I'm sure we butchered it. Zingoros or? Yeah,
that's correct. You're actually one of the first people to be able to pronounce it. So, yeah, you're correct.
Well, I'm Cuban. Actually, that sounds, and she's Puerto Rican, so, but it sounds almost like a Greek name, Zingoros.
Yeah.
Greekish type
of. Oros.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought, too.
Yeah, gypsy, so, interesting name.
Okay.
So you guys have any albums coming out, and where can our listeners purchase it?
We currently have a SoundCloud where we have our Cold Attitude track out right now, which is our debut single, but currently we're working on writing, a EP or demo album, which we'll put out on iTunes within this year. And but what we're also doing as well is we take requests for covers. So each week we're going to try to put out some new covers so you guys can see, what we can play, how we sound, how we feel, and,
That's awesome.
Trying to do some new stuff.
That's excellent. Any advice for the younger generation, trans generation that are musically inclined, and do you have words of wisdom that you would like to share with them?
I would say stick with it. If it's really something that you have a passion, go for it. I've found that the music community is a great place to get out your emotions, stress, anxiety. You can also network with new people and show people that you can do this no matter what, gender you identify with or what you're going through. So I would just say stick with it. Be open to new things and new places, but music is a great place to start, and just keep with it.
That's excellent. Anything else you wanted to add, Quinn?
Oh, no, just thank you for having me on the show, and I'm sure we'll, talk again.
I was curious, you're living in Florida, right?
Yes.
Yeah. With the new, legislation that they're trying to pass, what do you feel like? What do you feel about that? How do you feel?
Yeah, I actually did an interview last week about that bill, which I wasn't too aware of. I didn't think it was really going to pass, but I was informed that a support group for someone. And I think the bill is kind of ridiculous because, I mean, yeah, you can say trans people are perverts. That's kind of how they phrase it to me, or they might be some type of like inappropriate or like a rapist, which is not true. But what I told the news reporters is trans people have been in the bathroom since like the beginning of time. So I don't understand why it's a big deal now and why you'd want to waste, our money and people's money on something. I don't know, how they're going to check to make sure you're truly trans if you're in the wrong or right bathroom or whatever. And this not only affects cisgender people and also single parents or parents in general that have different gendered kids because they don't have the same biology. And, I thought as well with, say you had if Mark had a female child, he couldn't take that child to the bathroom. And that's just like a, real pain, and it's unnecessary. It's really unnecessary, so I hope it does not pass.
Yeah, it's pretty scary because there's a lot of stuff going on with that Planet Fitness, was it?
Just in Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan. So, I mean, something's stirring up. I mean, I could see both sides of the coin. I mean, there are people, like, those that are going to be affected are the ones that don't pass well.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're not going to be checking, okay, let's pull your pants down and see if you belong there, that kind of thing. But the ones that don't pass well are the ones that are going to be affected. And, I've got mixed feelings about that because I know that some individuals don't feel safe, especially when it's like male to females going into female bathrooms. That's a little more, kind of. I mean,
you could get beat up on either. Yeah, on either spectrum. You could. Your health is at risk and your well-being. But what I recommended for people in this situation, if you feel like you don't pass, or you're just gender neutral, or even lesbian person could get mistaken or something like that. But I told people to try using like a family bathroom or a disabled bathroom if this does pass, or depending on what happens, because, that's what I did early on in my transition, just so people are mean, but I just used a family bathroom, or in school as well, I used, like, the nurse bathroom, but I kind of have to sneak in, but that's what I would do just to be safe, So.
Yeah, I know that when I transitioned, I was still in that in-between stage, but I was still using the female bathroom. I had a lady, I was at Gold's Gym, and a lady opened up the door, closed the door, opened it up again, and goes, "Young man, you're in the wrong bathroom." And I was like, oh, gosh, okay, I think it's time to start using the male's bathroom.
Yeah,
and I was scared. I was scared to death because I was like, okay, get, like, screamed at by a woman or get beat up by a dude. What do I do? It's one of those things, but it's rough. It's rough situation.
I mean, as an MTF, it is, our responsibility to be discreet and to be courteous and aware of other people's feelings and thoughts, before we want to impose our way on people, and I think that, for me, it's one of those things where I use discretion, if I can use a family bathroom, I will, I mean, I don't know. It's not a matter of really passing or not passing, but it's just a matter of being courteous,
Yeah. And then you already have so much anxiety going in there. It's just like now they're going to single you out. And I said, me being, I'm mixed, I'm black and white, but it's I kind of related it to people as it's kind of like we're going back in time when the blacks and whites were separated. You're separating a person just because of, the way they are, and that's not right,
Yeah, very true. All right, thank you so much for granting us the interview. And again, as soon as we get the TV show going, we'll invite you both back, you and Reese, and that way you could share some of the videos and things of that nature.
That'd be awesome.
Thank you so much, and good luck.
Yeah,
good luck in everything you do.
Have a great day.
You
Thanks,
too.
Quinn.
Take care.
Right,
Well, bye-bye. That was an amazing interview, and we're going to be having more musicians coming up, and transgender individuals with disability who want to share their stories, and we got great plans coming up ahead. Guys, stay tuned for Monday. We have got, current events and the supernatural.
That's right.
Well, we're going to end the show with one of Los Zingoros' single called Cold Attitude. And remember, guys, if you can't live your truth,
it's not just it's not worth living.
It's just not worth living.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy. And here is Cold Attitude.
Skies, bodies litter the street, 1 to 1,000. Covered mouths, lips so shut. If you told me the sun was blue, I would have believed you. That's how much I was in love with you. I saw you in colors, I guess you never knew. Like the poison you dream, I do not want it, but it's there enticing me. That's how much I was in love with you. I saw you in colors, I guess you never knew. Cold attitude. Junkyard skies, she never matters, she's just 1 of 1,000. Covered mouths, lips so shut. If you told me the sun was blue, I would have believed you. That's how much I was in love with you. I saw you in colors, I guess you never knew. Cold attitude. Cold attitude. Saw you in colors, I guess you never knew. Saw you in colors, I guess you never knew. Saw you in colors, I guess you never knew. That's how much I was in love with you.